Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn CBSE 10th class Civics, Chapter 6 Political Parties. So, here the content what we are going to learn: meaning of political party, functions, necessity, how many parties should we have. These are the topics we are going to learn today. The first topic: meaning. A political party is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power in the government. So here the political party is a group of people. So group of people are there in the political party. So they are contesting an election for what purpose? To hold power in the government for that purpose. So here you can find out they agree on some policies and programs for the society with a view to promote the collective good. That means each political party has their own policies and programs. They can take these programs and policies toward the people. So this is the meaning of political party. So next topic, partisan. A person who is strongly committed to a party, group or faction is known as partisan. You can find out this partisanship in political parties. Why? Because members and the followers of the party usually they are very strongly committed to the party. Come to the next topic, that is components of political party. First one is leaders, active members, followers. So what are the components of political parties? If they ask me, so you have to write leaders, active members, followers. These are the components of political party. So next important concept of the lesson, functions of political parties. So what are the functions of the political parties? There are seven functions are there, children. The first function of political party is political parties are contest in election. First function of political parties are contest in election. In most democracies, elections are fought mainly among the candidates put up by the political parties. So here they given two examples, America and India. In America, members and supporters of a party choose its candidates to contest an election. Now more and more countries are following this method. But come to India, top party leaders choose candidates for contesting election. So majority of the countries nowadays they are following America. Why? Because the candidates choose by the supporters and members of the party. That facility is not available in India. Why? Because the candidates choose by the top party leaders in India. That is the difference between India and America. So first function of the political party is political parties are contest in election. Come to the second one. Parties put forward different policies and programs, and the voters choose from them. So here, different political parties have different policies and programs. So these parties are taking their policies and programs in front of people before election. So during election time, people choose one party among them and they give power. So whenever that party form the government, they are trying to implement their policies and programs for the development of the country. That is the second point. So parties put forward different policies and programs. Come to the next one. Political parties play a decisive role in making laws for a country. So, political parties making laws. So, usually the political parties are making laws whenever they form the government, especially they're making laws for an entire country, they're making laws in parliament. For state, they're making laws in assembly. So, political parties making laws. That is the third important function of political party. Come to the next one. Parties form and run the governments. So next point, parties form and run the governments. So which party form the government, children? Which party form and run the governments? The party which got majority seats in Lok Sabha, majority seats in Assembly, that parties form the government. So they are not only form the government, they are also recruit the leaders. They train the leaders and they make the leaders as ministers. For what purpose? To run the government in the way they want. So already we learned before. So political parties had policies and programs. So that to implement that policies and programs, they need leaders. So they recruit the leaders, they train the leaders, then they make the leaders as ministers to implement their policies and programs in the government. Fifth function of political party, parties those who lose in elections play the role of opposition to the parties in power. So we know very well in 2019 election, Which party became the ruling party? BJP. Why? Because BJP secured 303 seats and became the largest party in Lok Sabha. At the same time, which party became the opposition party in 2019 election? Congress. Why? Because Congress got 52 seats. Then in Andhra Pradesh, YSRCP became the ruling party, TDP became the opposition party. So the role of opposition party is to criticizing the government for its failures and wrong policies and appreciate for their right policies. Generally, opposition parties should not appreciate ruling parties. So this is the fifth important function of political party. Parties shape public opinion, they rise and highlight issues. So this is the sixth function of political party. So parties have lakhs of members and the activists spread all over the country. So not only these parties, even the pressure groups are the extensions of political parties like media. So parties sometimes also launch movements for the resolution of problems faced by the people. For example, recently, Congress party gave its support to the farmers of Punjab and Haryana to fight against the farm bills which are introduced by the BJP in parliament. So, sixth important function of political parties, parties shape public opinion, they rise and highlight the issues. Seventh function of political party, so parties provide people access to government machinery and welfare schemes implemented by the government. For an ordinary citizen, it is easy to approach a local party leader than a government officer. So, a ruling party implementing so many welfare schemes nowadays. So, if the people want to utilize the schemes, whatever they implementing, so they are approaching local party leader instead of government officer. Why? Because they have close relationship with the local leaders than the government offices. Even the parties have to be responsive to the people's needs and demands. If they are not responsive to the needs of the people, so usually people can reject those parties in the next election. So that is the seventh function of the political party. So parties provide people access to the government machinery and welfare schemes. So students, I am repeating all the functions of political parties. Seven functions of political parties. The first one is parties contest in elections. Second one, parties put forward different policies and programs. The next one, third one, parties play a decisive role in making laws for a country. Fourth one, parties form and run the governments. Fifth one, those parties that lose in election, they play the role of opposition. Then sixth one, parties shape public opinion. And the seventh one, parties provide people access to government machinery and welfare schemes. So these are the seven functions of political parties. Next important topic of the lesson, necessity of political parties. So what is the necessity of political parties? So we still need to ask why modern democracies cannot exist without political parties. So we can understand the necessity of political parties by imagine the situation without parties. So without parties means usually every candidate in the elections will be independent. So no one will be able to make any promises to the people about any major policy changes. Why? Because if they want to change any policy means compulsory they require majority support in parliament. So among 543 representatives, maybe they have different types of views and opinions. So elected representatives will be accountable to their own constituency for what they do in the locality. But no one will be responsible for how the country will be run. So for this purpose, compulsory we require political parties. Compulsory we require political parties. Then our country is a democratic country. At the same time, representative democracy. So our population is more than 135 crores. So it's very difficult. All those people sit together and take decision for the development of the country. So for this purpose, we need a mechanism to elect our representatives. So they needed compulsory. We needed a mechanism to support or restrain the government, make policies, justify or oppose them. For this purpose, compulsory we require political parties. So political parties fulfill these needs that every representative government has. Our last topic of the lesson: how many parties should we have? In a democracy, any group of citizens are free to form a political party. So there are nearly 750 parties are registered with the Election Commission of India, but not all these parties are serious contenders in the election. Usually only handful of parties are effectively in the race to win elections and form the government. So the question is, how many major or effective parties are good for a democracy? So this is the question in front of us. In some countries, only one party is allowed to control and run the government. So these are called one party system. If one party is allowed to rule and control the government, that country is called as one party system. So China is the best example, but it is not a democratic option. Any democracy system must allow at least two parties to compete in elections and provide a fair chance for the competing parties to come to power. So one party system is not good for democracy. So come to the second one. In some countries, power usually changes between the two main parties. Several other parties also exist. They also contend in election, but they did not get enough seats to form and run the government. But only two parties, main parties, have a serious chance to win in the election and to form the government. Such party system is called two-party system. So the United States of America and the United Kingdom are the best examples of two-party system. So in America, there are two important parties, Republic and Democrat. In UK, Labour Party and Conservative parties. So second system is two-party system. Come to the next one. Come to the next party system. If several parties compete for power and more than two parties have a reasonable chance of coming to power either on their own strength or in alliance with others, we call it as a multi-party system. That means more than two parties means multi-party. One party, two party, multi-party. So India is the best example of multi-party system. In this system, the government is formed, various parties coming together in the coalition. Before election, if the parties together contest in election means that is called alliance. Af- After election, if no political party get enough majority to form the government means, if some parties together, if they form government means that government is called as coalition. For example, in India, there were three such major alliances before contesting election in 2004 parliamentary elections. National Democratic Alliance, NDA, led by BJP, the United Progressive Alliance, that is led by Congress, and the Left Front, that is led by CPI and CPIM. So, multi-party system is often appears very messy and leads to a political instability. At the same time, this multi-party system allows a variety of interests and opinions to enjoy political representation. Come to the next point, that is one party system, two party system, multi party system. So these are the different types of systems, and which one is which one is suitable, which one is ideal for the democracy means it's depending on long time, depending on the nature of the society, its social and regional divisions, it's the history of political and its system of elections and everything. And take example, India has evolved in a multi-party system. It is because the social and geographical diversity, different types of variations are there in our country. Social divisions are there, different types of geographical divisions are there, ethnic groups are there. That's why. So social and geographical diversity is there in our country. So it's not easily absorbed by two or even three parties. So finally, my conclusion is no party is ideal for all the countries and all situations. So these are the topics, children. So next video we are going to discuss about what are the national parties and the state parties.